Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and on this podcast, we like to judge, we like to give advice, and we like to enjoy all the pettiness. Before we get into our stories for today, just our usual housekeeping, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. If you are listening on podcast, please leave a 5-star review if you liked it, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more. If you are watching on YouTube, please comment with your thoughts on stories down below. Like the video, subscribe for more, press the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video, and share it with a friend. All right. Today, I completely did that out of order. It's okay. Today, this is episode 20 of Petty Please. And I'm so glad I finally got in to see the eye doctor. I have contacts again. So happy. I can wear my cute sunglasses. I'm not having to constantly adjust my glasses on my face. There's no glare on the video. We are happy. And the new contacts I'm trying, so much more comfortable. I don't know why this one random piece of hair decided to be long today. It's kind of weird, but into our pettiness for today. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/entitled people. Entitled woman parked on my driveway and went to work. Looked out the window one morning to see a random woman parked on my driveway. For context, my parking spot fits 2 cars. But my partner usually parks there, or my parents when they come over. The first day, I thought I'd give her the benefit of the doubt, as wasn't sure if she was mistaken. She looked up from scrolling on her phone to give me a filthy look as if to say, "Why are you staring at me?" and then made a gesture with her hand to say she's leaving. She sat for a further 5 minutes on her phone, then left. The next morning, I see the car parked there again, and she's nowhere to be seen. I left a note on her windscreen asking her to not park there. After a few hours of checking out the window to see if she's come back yet, she eventually arrives with a grin on her face. I ask if she works around the area and told her it's my driveway and she can't park there. To my surprise, she says, "I know it is, and I'm using it." I said, "You can't park there. I need it. It's my space." She said, "Well, I work around the corner and there's no parking, so I go here." I pointed to the various spots I could see and she said she won't park there again. She ripped up my note, threw it in the drain, and then proceeded to sit on the dropped curb, giving me filthy looks before finally driving off. I'm not sure if she's going to come back, but I assume she will try to. I've been parking diagonally to stop her accessing it. I wouldn't even try to stop her accessing it. I would go full send on this, let her park there, and call to have her towed the next time for obstruction, trespassing, whatever. Have her towed. Once she has to go pay a bill to get her car back, she's probably not going to come back. Yeah. She's definitely entitled, but this was definitely not petty. Bare minimum here. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Downstairs neighbors complain about noise regularly. Both neighbors living in the downstairs apartments have been complaining to our landlord that I apparently make noise almost every night. I often wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and last night, the neighbor directly above my bedroom was once again knocking on the ceiling about 4 times even after I went back to bed. This has happened at least 6 times since May. More recently, both of them have been knocking while I'm vacuuming in my apartment on a Sunday at 15 p.m., so 3 p.m. They have threatened to go take it to the police a couple months ago, but since then I've heard nothing about it. So either they were bluffing or the cops didn't intervene because I haven't done anything illegal, obviously. Meanwhile, the landlord refuses to do anything beyond passing the word between each other. So I'm stuck in a frustrating and stressful situation. I don't know what to do because I really don't want to move away. A couple other details: I live alone, I always do my laundry in the evening, and almost always shower before 10 p.m. I don't listen to loud music and don't host parties. The only visit I get is my friend about once a week. I don't think you should have to move over this. They're the ones with a problem complaining about you being noisy. Your landlord obviously knows it's, the complaints are baseless. The law apparently didn't take them seriously either. So as long as you can tolerate them knocking on the ceiling, the floor, whichever, honestly, I would just knock back. I would knock back and try to see what happens. But as long as you can tolerate them being kind of assholes, just ignore them and go on living your life. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/petty revenge, our favorite. She thought she was being smart. Years ago, I worked in a store with multiple cash registers. I was second on call, so when things got too busy at the first register, I was called to assist. The policy was that you gesture to the next person in the other line. Please follow me. This register is open now. It was an older man who started to gather some of his stuff that he had already put down, and this fine specimen of a human paces from behind him, throws her stuff on the conveyor belt. I mentioned that the gentleman is supposed to be next, but she quickly retorts with a saying that literally translates to, "Life is for the quick ones." She obviously never heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. Sigh. I'm visibly annoyed, but the older man waved his hand to me, suggesting me to let it go. As I check her out, she pays cash with a banknote. As I'm getting the change together, she realizes that she has change to match the difference, so she doesn't get that much change in return. She mentions, "Wait, I can match it probably," and starts rummaging in her purse. I already have all the change in my hand. Gently smack it down in front of her and say, "Life is for the quick ones," and smile my most beautiful grin. She stormed off and the older man gave me a thumbs up. You get what you give in life. There's just the proof. That one, it was petty, but it was so easy. It was so easy. Story number 4, if I didn't already lose count. Yes, story number 4 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. Told rude lady we couldn't accept Canadian coin. This was probably about 15 years ago, back when I was still in retail and working for a popular bookstore chain in a very affluent area in the US. One lady came up and was on the phone the whole time, getting annoyed when I had to ask questions, not even looking at me, just an all-around rude turd. Anyway, I heard her say to the person on the phone that she still has so many coins left from her previous trip to Canada, and she was still trying to get rid of them. Then I saw her specifically picking out all the Canadian coins to give to me to pay for her stuff. Normally, I didn't care if a few made their way in. It happened, and I didn't kick up a fuss. But it bothered me she was specifically picking them out to unload them on us. So I decided to be petty, because her manners were non-existent. "Sorry, ma'am, I can't take these. They aren't U.S. tender." "What? Oh, who cares? Canadian money is all over, and it doesn't matter. They look similar." "Sorry, that's policy. I can't accept foreign money." She scoffed, rolled her eyes, and of course was grumbling and snotty when she handed me the right coins. But whatever. I made her slightly inconvenienced for her rudeness. Mwahahaha. I love it. It was petty, but it was perfect. That's the most annoying thing in the world to me. When people are on the phone when they should be interacting with a service worker. Just the other day, where was I? Oh, I was at the eye doctor, and I was just checking out, walking out, and my phone rang. I looked at my watch to see who it was, and I just ignored the call and waited because I was in a service, interacting with a service worker, and that would have been rude and unnecessary. I walked out the doors, was walking to my car, and called her back. Most things can wait long enough for you to have your interaction with a service worker, be a polite human, and then go on and take care of whatever you need to on the phone. I want to say it's basic common courtesy, and I don't know why it's fallen by the wayside. Story number 5 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. She needed McDonald's. Sounds like my kid. I think that I just had the most petty satisfaction experience I will have all month. I was going to a McDonald's and pulled into the middle lane and waited for a gap. I technically could have gone straight away, but it would have been close and no doubt cut off the oncoming traffic. The lady in a car behind me also going to McDonald's didn't like this. She almost clipped me when she pulled to the right from behind me and passed me waiting to go in front and cut me off and the oncoming traffic. Several cars noticeably slowed and honked at her. I was irked, but saw my chance when I went over after a break and noticed she was waiting in the slightly longer of the two lines. I did a quick count and jumped over to the other line, ordered quicker than normal, and bam! I was 3 cars ahead of a lady who risked several car accidents just to get McDonald's slightly faster than if she waited safely. As I left, I honked to get her attention and waved. I have a very noticeable car and just know she knew it was me after seeing her expression as I passed by. Oh, I love it. The strategy and the planning to get ahead of her. Where was I? I was in... Okay, there. I guess a lot happened the day I finally went to the eye doctor. I had turned into just a random parking lot to Google a location. And this parking lot, when you turned out of it, had a stoplight, and there's the double yellow lines where you're in the lane you're supposed to be in to either go straight or turn left, waiting at the stoplight. And then on the other side of the double lines is where the traffic coming this way could turn in around you to go that parking lot. And I don't understand people. It was not a confusing situation. It's very clearly marked. It was daylight. And this SUV is waiting at the stoplight on the left side of the double yellows. If the cars coming this way would have had a green light to turn left first, they would have had nowhere to go because they were blocking the lane. Waiting to turn left, they were blocking the lane that the cars coming this way would have needed to turn into. And I was actually supposed to be in the correct lane from that parking lot to turn left. And I was just so flabbergasted. I'm like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want to be anywhere near this car. Clearly they can't drive. So I just turned right, took the lane out of the parking lot to the right and just turned off another parking lot to circle back. I was like, I'm getting out of here because people can't drive. People can't drive. They don't pay enough attention, whether to the flow of traffic or to cars around them. People like this lady with her McDonald's are the people who do cause accidents. And just for McDonald's. Story number 6 is coming to us from r/petty revenge, texting grandma. So I was out in the town and admittedly a bit intoxicated. Well, long story short, this dude bought me and my friend a couple drinks and started asking us to do truly depraved things. This is already taken a turn from where I thought we were anywhere close to going. For backstory, I am 100% no contact with my family and have them blocked on everything because they were emotionally neglectful and abusive and just terrible people, especially my mother and my grandmother. I still have my grandmother's phone number memorized, however. So, back to the point. This guy wants some stuff done, so I wrote down my grandmother's number, told him it was mine, and told him to text me in the morning with all the disgusting, depraved things he wants me to do to him and wants to do to me. I told him to be explicit in detail. I have no idea if he did text that number at all, but I like to imagine he did. It brings me joy. Oh my goodness. I mean, quick thinking, brilliant, and honestly so evil. I love it. I love it. The first comment down below it says, "You may have just given me a use for my stepmonster's phone number. That will never leave my head." Now you know. You are prepared. You have never forgotten that number for a reason. Let's see. Okay, that one derailed very quickly for me, but it circled back in a good way. I thought that was so funny. I lost count. Okay. The only way I can go back and find where I was and what my count is, as I read each story on my save list, I upvote it. And that way I can see which ones have the orange, and the ones that are orange are the ones I've read for today's story, because I unsave them after I've read them. So story number 7 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. Inadvertently petty revenge. So this happened about 20 some odd years ago. It's kind of inadvertent minor revenge. I don't think petty really covers it. My second ex, she who must not be named, was a flaming, backstabbing bitch. Tried to turn friends and my own kids against me. Lied, cheated, did whatever she could to cause chaos in my family and for me. I could go on at great length, but even now, typing this, I'm getting worked up. Anyway, she got the boot. I became single dad of a very young son, ceasing her parental rights, visitation, the whole 9 yards. Several years go by. So my older son came into town. My daughter was at home with my youngest. Older son and I decided to go out to lunch. Driving on the loop and discussing where he finally got off, and we went to a Mexican restaurant I liked. He parked, and as I'm getting out, I noticed peripherally there are people in the car next to me. It's my ex and her whole grifter family. 7 or 8 of them. Shit, my family luck back to bite me in the ass again. I, by God, came here to eat, and I was going to eat. Priorities. Her mother smoked, so did I. So I asked for a non-smoking table. They still seated us too close. Yes, sir.
It's only slowly blinking green, no red light.
Oh.
I stuck you some candy in front of the door.
Thank you, baby.
I love you.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye. Little boys are so sweet. I gotta go get my candy. I could hear rustling under the door, and I kind of figured it was candy because he brought me some last time. We got cherry Laffy Taffy. We got strawberry Laffy Taffy. Last time I just got one sucker. We got a yellow Tootsie Pop. We got this very rainbow candy cane that I don't necessarily want. Banana Laffy Taffy, don't like that either. And Batman candy cigarettes. Okay. Where were we? Okay. I, by God, came here to eat, and I was going to eat. Her mother smoked, so did I. So I asked for a non-smoking table. They still seated us too close. Son and I ate, finished. Their table was chaos. Drinking, yelling, arguments, spilling everything everywhere. Told my son, we're done. So my son went out to bring the car around. I get up to leave. X had spawned 2 more kids who were there. One of them was at the end of the table, maybe a year or 2 old. They claimed he would scream bloody, red-handed effing murder if any human being got near him. Yeah, cute. No, really. They all really started laying it on thick. Go over near him and see, egging me on to test it by standing near the kid. No thanks. They pushed and pushed. I realized even at the time they probably wanted me to get embarrassed at the restaurant. I'm thinking my son probably was waiting with the car. Didn't know what happened in my brain, but I walked over to the kid and looked at him for half a minute. He didn't seem to much notice me. I moved his chair over a couple of inches, pulled up a chair from another table, and sat next to him. I looked at him. He looked at me. Someone said, he must be in a really good mood. There was a stack of drink coasters on the table. I picked it up, divided it into equal portions, and stuck half in his hand. I raised his hand and spread them like they were playing cards. I fanned my coasters. He was looking at his coasters. I looked and decided, and picked one of his coasters and put it with mine. Examined them a moment, then held mine up to him. I took his other hand and used it to pick one of my coasters to put it with his. Went on like this for a minute or 2. It's dead quiet at the table the entire time. Finally, I gave him all my coasters, put the chair back, and said, I gotta go. Not a sound from that table all the way to the front door. Screams when any human being gets near him, huh? Maybe he's just never been near a human being before. And I hope the restaurant counted the silverware. No, I'm not kidding. Wow. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm impressed that you engaged. I'm not sure. I mean, it worked out well, But like the way you describe these people, like not even human beings, I couldn't have trusted it. I couldn't have. But you did prove them wrong, like you, for possibly the first time ever, shut those people up. So good for you. This was a very entertaining read. I love it. And it was petty in like the quietest way. I really love quiet petty. Let's see. That was a good one. Story number 8 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. Won't finish her tattoo. This is why you never put all your eggs in one basket, folks. Kinda long. Former boss, call her Diana, called me between jobs for an ASM position at store she just become GM of. Decent pay, and I was about to turn 26 and lose my parents' insurance. They offered the same plan and had great PTO, so it was perfect. Got hired quickly. At the same time, my boyfriend needed a place to stay, and she offered a room while we stayed for a place together. My boyfriend would also have a good job once a position was available. What neither of us knew, she was drinking again, and I was being handed a failing store with beaten down staff from a string of bad managers. She also got a sister store's manager fired and took her job. A month and a half being with the company, and I was getting praised like crazy. I was promoted to GM with a $10,000 salary raise. I became content manager for the Facebook page, and daily sales were increasing 400%. Even started a partnership with a bulk buyer and her business, giving us free advertising. I'm working 10 to 12-hour days, even coming in on the day all stores are closed and no one works. I was putting my heart and soul into that store. At this point, Diana was putting liquor in her coffee at 7 a.m. and going home, 3 minutes from work, to sneak drinks. She was stealing from the store, and my boyfriend would see the stuff magically appear in the house. This is a non-profit thrift store string supporting an orphanage/children's home. She was going down, especially compared to my progress. Out of the blue one day, my boss in HR walked into my store and fired me. The reasons they gave were all things I had told Diana, but had been twisted or lied about. For instance, I'd called Diana about a problem employee when she was still my boss. I laid down the hammer on the employee, later found out I made a mistake, and immediately called her about it. She said she would have done the same. That very thing ended up being the firing factor. 2 days earlier, Diana randomly said we only have 2 weeks to stay at her place, and then didn't see her till she was at my store that morning, not hers. Her deer caught in the headlights face didn't make sense till I was fired 20 minutes later. My boyfriend, now fiance, and I 110% believe she was behind me getting fired and decided to kick us out to protect herself. We also believe it was because I was doing so amazing and she was starting to look pathetic, like she actually was, while her drinking was catching up to her. I'd started a tattoo on her one night when she was drunk to keep her from doing other stupid things. I know you're not supposed to tattoo drunk people, but she was talking about going and killing people for people she knew in gangs and whatnot. So I tattooed her to calm her down. Fast forward, I am fired and kicked out, having to move to another state for help. She texts me about how horrible her life's been, and she was fired not long after me. Woe is her. And what does Diana say next? You need to finish my tattoo. No, ma'am, you chewed me up and spit me out. I am not going to finish your tattoo that symbolizes our friendship. I never replied and never will. Have fun with the tattoo, only 1/3 of the way done. Ooh. Ooh, I had no idea where that was going by the title. The really sad thing is I've seen this happen before, where you get close to somebody you work with, you tell them work things, they make you feel safe sharing things with them, and they're just banking it all until they finally have enough to use it against you, to either take your spot or get higher than you or look better than you. I know it's not that common, but I hate that it happens at all. This is rotten, this is twisted, but at least karma did work very quickly when she got fired, also not long after. But that is devastating, to work that hard to build something And it really sucks because it was like you worked for a company. It was never yours. But you did. You poured your heart and soul into it. You tried so hard. And just to randomly out of the blue have it ripped away from you, that would suck so bad. The first comment on here says, I would finish that tattoo and have lots of fun with it. And OP replied and said, I like the way you think, with the little smiling devil emoji. Ooh, that's evil, but I feel like there's way too many ways to get in trouble if you go back and finish it. She'll just have to pay for a cover-up. Story number 9 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. Keep the change, you filthy animal. I am a server, so of course I work for tips. This table had a wonderful time. Their every need was met for about 2 hours. I enjoyed stopping by to check in on them throughout the evening. Fast forward to the end of the evening. I am putting in my tips and run across this annoyance. I had to reread it. I give them the benefit of the doubt as a payment was split between 2 cards. No, the other couple tipped appropriately for their portion. The charge was for $99.92, and they left me 8 cents. So the total would be $100 even. To begin, if you are going to not tip, that is your own decision. But really, pennies. They don't even begin to cover my tip out for the table. I didn't bother to enter the 0.08 tip into the computer. I hope that the OCD itches them right in the brain when they check over their bank account. I hope that they recheck their bank account for days afterwards, just to see if the number changes. I get it. I round up on change as well. Integers just feel so nice, especially at intervals such as 100. Don't do this at the cost of someone else's livelihood. I won't deign to accept it. That it's the pennies that's offensive. You should have tipped them something plus 8 cents to get to your even number. Make it rounded up to 110, 115, 120. That is just offensive because you really didn't tip her. You didn't tip this server because they did a good job. You didn't give them anything. You only gave 8 cents to help yourself get to an even number. And it's offensive. I know I think in some countries, tipping is not the standard. Servers are actually paid a living wage. But in my mind, this is clearly America because it says I'm a server, so of course I work for tips. That's the way it works here. If I can't afford to give a fair tip, I don't go out to eat. That is my rule. Because I know they work for tips. And that's not fair. That's not fair. When you go to a restaurant and you're tipping, you are paying that server for the experience that they gave you. And that's why the amount that you decide to tip, depends on the level of service that you feel you received. But if she didn't do a horrible job, to not tip anything just feels so wrong. Like if she was horrible, like if she never checked on you once, if she never refilled your drinks, no, she did not earn her tip. But from the way that she tells the story, and there were no genders, I'm just assuming a she. From the way that she tells the story, she did a great job. They were there for 2 hours. And you didn't give her anything? Crazy. Crazy to me. Okay. Oh. Man, I wish we would have ended on the last one. That one was a happier one. Or at least had a better ending. Okay. That is 9 stories for this week's episode of Petty Please. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed all the pettiness today. And I will see you next time for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Bye.